Map Sen versus TaeJa. It all comes down to this. I would never steal from you, Mike. I would never steal from you.
Never steal anything?
Never. All right, in the bottom left-hand corner, the liquid player. The blue Terran, it is TaeJa. His opponent, the Taiwanese superstar, the red Zerg. It's Gamania Sen. And Derek Watcher, as we were saying, good for Zerg in the beginning and mid stages, not so great at the late stages. Talk to me a little bit about why Zerg is good in the mid stages.
Well, the map is so wide open in front of the third base and the natural that it makes it difficult for Terran to do a push against Sen's third and natural. And we kind of saw that in Frost too. It's the same dynamic here. It's just so open that it's difficult for Terran. A lot of times in maps like Whirlwind, they'll push and the Burrow Mines below the ramp and use that as a choke and just keep engaging up there. But you can't do that on maps like this.
Yeah. Is this a map where we might be seeing Roach, Hydra, Baneling, Zergling again?
Well, I think you can see that on any map. I like to do this a lot.
Oh! Go on.
Okay. So I like to do that a lot, but it's more of a stylistic thing than something that's map dependent, I think. This map it could be good on, but then again, Terrans a lot of the time are afraid of pushes like that on this map.
Oh, Sen will get away with his drone. Oh my goodness. Now TaeJa did repair his SCV, that's why he's okay. And Sen, it looks like, will be able to dodge this last SCV as well. So great heads-up play by Sen, keeping his drone alive and even doing some economic damage. It might not seem like a lot, but that's a good like 30, 40 minerals that TaeJa actually missed out on mining from here. Just a regular spawning pool and extractor out for Sen. Is 4-Queen opening better on this map overall, or do you agree with the metabolic boost?
I agree with it. It's, I think, a response to what the drone saw. A lot of the time you want to get that quick ling speed against the Reapers, so we'll have to see.
And it's not just one Reaper, it's 2 Reapers popping out here. TaeJa definitely liking that increased mobility that you have in the beginning stage. A lot of times you'll see, if you only get 1 Reaper, Zerglings will kind of backstab, and because you don't have anything at home, you might lose out on timing for the factor, or even the command center that is building out here. Normally, you will put it out here at the natural location. And we saw TaeJa do a third base last game. We'll see if that happens yet again as the drone gets to live. Zergling's going to be popping out here. And the drone probably is going to be dead. Wow. That's very uncharacteristic of, I would even say, pro play in Zerg vs. Terran.
Yeah, sometimes you make a mistake, though, and it happens to the best of us.
And TaeJa almost lost his Reaper there, but Queens are out. Regenerative properties will help out TaeJa as well. He just needs to be careful and not commit just so yet. Gas has been stopped. What do we have for TaeJa in terms of his build? A third command center. It looks like it's coming up pretty soon here. He has accrued enough as microing back and forth at the natural base is going to continue. We just haven't seen anything from TaeJa yet, but I expect it to be command center. That's the normal progression for this build. Now, where does TaeJa go from? No, a starport, excuse me. Where does TaeJa go from here? I mean, is this the correct play? Do you like the starport tech? Do you like the Banshee play, etc.?
I do like the Banshee play. It's not something you want to use every game, but seeing the playstyle that Sen's used the past couple games, I think this is a good choice. Against a player who invests into these Roaches, they don't do too much to the Banshee, and it delays Sen's third a tiny bit, and maybe he can find a window to punish that a little bit. Also, it can make it easier to stop creep spread, which is one thing that Zerg often wants to get going early on this map.
Well, is this even a situation where we can count on Sen going for Roaches? I feel like that might even be an overstep by TaeJa to say, okay, well, he goes Roaches every game, but we've only really seen him 2 games. That's not a large sample set, so... Well,
you can't count on that, but the Hellion Banshee play is still pretty good against Ling Baneling as well.
Okay. Well, 2 additional Queens are popping out here, making it a total of 5 Queens, so it's almost like Sen knows exactly what his opponent is doing, getting almost the perfect build, I would say, as 5 Queens will be able to shut this down pretty easily, or at least 4 Queens up in the front, which is what's going to be so helpful. Third hatchery is going to go down pretty soon, and I like Actually, this is really interesting to me. He gets the 5 queens before he throws down the hatchery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this just he's playing super defensive, or is this like the standard build?
I think it's just because he's playing super defensive. You can't make the third as quickly against someone who opens Reapers, because you need to have something to push the Reapers back before you can take that third base.
Well, no additional Banshees are popping out here, nor is there Cloak. A little bit of harass in the front, but with those transfuses, it will be incredibly hard for Sen to be broken. The transition directly after this, third command center, we see engineering base being thrown down. Stim hasn't started just yet, but he has switched off the starport, and he put it on that factory, or excuse me, the barracks. Factory is getting an add-on for what looks like to be the barracks as well. Banshee getting in here, doing a little bit of damage, but it should be shut down momentarily. 4 drones are going to be killed. And this great micro coming out of TaeJa, being able to do the most with so little. But is it going to be enough? Income tab, 46 to 42, so still staying relatively good. Each mule is 4.5 mining efficient workers per minute. The big problem you have to worry about, though, if you are someone like TaeJa, is the upgrade advantage, the upgrade war. There's always going to be that timing for Zerg to take advantage of their upgrades, and if TaeJa isn't defending correctly, then he could just be overwhelmed at that, I would say, 13, 14-minute mark, because he's still building 2-2, and Sen already has it up. So this is going to be a little bit difficult as we get into the mid-game stages, and this is where we were talking about Zerg is the strongest. Now, what does TaeJa need to do to kind of hedge his losses or hedge his disadvantages?
I think he should play more passively than we saw in the previous game, and he should just kind of make more units and wait until Sen takes a 4th, and then start pressuring, and then start pushing towards the 4th base. And if he pushes that sooner, just clean up some creep tumors, then lift up in the medevacs and fly home. Because, like we saw in Frost, Sen has an incredibly good creep spread, and because it's so open again, it's going to be difficult if he wants to push through the middle of the map.
Wow, look at this. I mean, Sen was executing some really cool tactics. Zerglings over in the 3rd base, and he kind of anticipated units would go to defend against those Zerglings. So that's why he suicided them in, but TaeJa just kept strong and stoic. He will start saturating this 3rd base, but I'm getting a little bit worried. Income tab, 69 harvesters to 55 now. The incomes are pretty equivalent, but the gas count for Sen is approaching a lot faster, and now the first push out is starting up here. TaeJa is not heeding your warning. And this is a 1-1 timing for TaeJa, by the way.
I think it's just going to be to clean up the creep tumors, though.
I think so, too, yeah.
Because if you look at the bio, it's just the right amount for him to lift up in the medevacs and fly away if too many units come for his...
Yeah, that's true. Sen preparing some sort of push out. He wants to reclaim this area so he can replace creep tumors over there. Banshee is going to go over to the 3rd base, and now the engagement is going to start up, but as you said, just picking away. Oh, no, the Hellions! They're going to be surrounded, but somehow they get out. And there it is. Sen will retake control of this position. That's really important to have. Vikings still being a pain in the butt for Sen. And it looks like the 4th base is finally going to be placed for him as well. Transfuse, very cute trick little trick there. And he will maintain his Overlord. Still, Queens will be able to get shots on the Vikings, but the Marines will be able to deny the 4th base at the same time. So this is a little nice pickoff for TaeJa.
Yeah, this is an incredibly good pickoff from TaeJa. I think TaeJa has every advantage right now.
Really?
If you look at the supply, that's a pretty nice lead for TaeJa. Although Terran usually is ahead at this stage, I think TaeJa has even a bit more of a lead than Terran should have. And picking off the 4th base, well, that's not perfect, but picking off the 4th base means that Sen's not going to have that economy that he wants as early in the game.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We'll find out if he does what we saw in game number 1, or if it's a little bit different. Game 1, how he really positioned himself was mass Zerglings were going to really take control of the game, and he puts his gas into a lot of Banelings, gets Hive Tech and plus 3/3 a little bit quicker, but for the most part, he's really relying on his Zerglings to clean everything up, and he's doing a good job by maintaining his creep spread. His 4th base location is being spread right now, so he can defend it a little bit better. But his map control isn't nearly as good, and that's because of the Viking count, or the Viking in the very early stages. And you can see TaeJa starting to mount an assault. This could be pretty devastating.
Yeah.
2-2's already finished, though, and this is the timing I was talking about where TaeJa needs to be so careful. I feel like he can lose this fight so easily if he goes to engage on creep.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to. He's just going to push up, kill the destructible rocks, and then push towards the 4th base of Sen. And because of kind of the chokes that he could utilize, and because there's no creep over there, I think he could do well. But we see a big counterattack.
Yeah, this counterattack works out perfectly, takes out a lot of the reinforcements, and now going to go for the main army. The Widow Mines, they got a big connection of Banelings, but is it going to be enough? 2-2 isn't finished for TaeJa. He's being forced back all the way. Units will be picked up, but is it going to be in time? An incredibly cost-efficient fight, but the 4th base is under attack. Zerglings immediately sprinted over there. He's targeting down the hatchery, but it's going to be too much damage. +3 attack just got started. That means +2 just finished. And Sen, I feel like, just took a massive win there.
Yeah, that was an enormous win. And even though you pointed out that one incredibly good Widow Mine connection, that doesn't make up for the 6 Widow Mines that just died to the Banelings before
That's
they finished
true.
burrowing.
I mean, that is a lot of AoE that you're missing out in that battle. So unfortunate. TaeJa gonna have to go back to square one. Now, he does have this hatchery at half life, but with transfuses, Sen will be able to retain that, and he knows that's a big point of contention, so he's keeping his units near that area to possibly defend against drops. You can see TaeJa with his Marines over here on the mid left-hand side. Hive Tech is approaching. +3 has been starting, so the upgrade advantage will come out for TaeJa eventually, but that's still a good 3 minutes away. That's a long time. Here it is. The attack is approaching up here, targeting down one of the queens. And it looks like the medevac will be chased away. Sen in great position still, though, to deny 4th bases. And that's how you really want to be playing your ZVT, I think, on this map. You just try to deny 4th bases as best as possible. And then from that, you actually are able to counterattack into the natural, like what we just saw moments ago. And I think that's a really good way to play it out. And Sen is just continuing creep spread also on the bottom corner. Where does TaeJa have to go from here, Ghost User? I mean, how does he get back? Does he just wait for 3-3, go for the engagement again? He is maxed out.
Well, he doesn't want to wait because he's maxed. He wants to push now and try to get as efficient engagements as he can.
But is that possible?
This is kind of a non-committal push he's doing now. He hasn't brought any of his Widow Mines with him, and I'm kind of confused about that.
Yeah, it almost feels like, hey, I'm trying to bait you to counterattack me.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing, but Sen's he's not taking the bait.
No, he's just saying, well, I'll just attack your Marines directly up in front. And it's looking good. 5th base is being taken for Sen in the same location as his 4th, around there. And now he's just committing straight in the front. And as you can see, no Widow Mines to really help out. Now finally burrowing into position. But is it going to be enough? Oh, it's going to have to be... It's a little bit dicey for both these players. But is Sen going to go into this? Oh my gosh, that's so scary if I'm Sen. Now taking out the drop over here, or at least the medevac and the group of Marines. Over at the watchtower, Sen in a good position, but the 4th base has been started now. So TaeJa has a long lifetime for his push to consistently just drill at the top, middle, and of course, this top location as well.
Yeah, I think we'll see TaeJa pushing with a more committed push pretty soon, though. Because now he's maxed, his bank's kind of building up, his 3-3 upgrades are done. And when you're playing Biomine, you want to push sometime in the game, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're not going to push now, what are you waiting for? You're maxed, you have all the upgrades you want.
Well, he's getting +2 building armor. So
yeah.
He doesn't have all the upgrades he wants.
I mean, but I think he wants to push sometime soon.
I'm just kidding.
Because, like, it just gets better for Zerg in this situation. Zerg can remax quicker.
Yep.
And he's doing an Ultralisk Caverna now. So now is the time when TaeJa's going to want to push.
Yeah, and the transition switches are really awkward for Terran, I think. Like, you need a good count of bio and Widow Mines to fend off against the Ultras, or at least the Ultra switch, and especially you need a large Marauder count. Normally your infrastructure isn't geared up for that, so you need to be at like a trailing switch. And here's the engagement, going to start in from the top. No, he's going to back off.
I think it's going to be tough. There's a lot of creep here.
Yeah, it is going to be difficult. Now he's coming from both sides, and we'll see if this is going to be effective. A lot of Widow Mines. He's darting in. Not the best engagement so far, but these might connect so well. Baneling's going to crash into some of these Widow Mines, just backing up and replacing the supply immediately. 5 Ultralisks on the way for Sen, and he's going to have a great transition over here. What does TaeJa have to counter this? Although that was a pretty cost-efficient engagement.
Yeah, that was a cost-efficient engagement. It still doesn't give TaeJa much of a lead, though, because Sen still just has such a huge bank even after making those ultra lists.
But TaeJa poking in here with small amounts of units. This is like half his army now again pushing forward. The Banelings are in plentiful numbers, but is it going to be enough? Baneling hits do not connect with any of the Marines, and Widowmine hits don't connect with any of the Banelings. Again, pushing in here with small packs of units, and you can tell Sen is just waiting for that ultimate composition. The large amount of ultras just to barrel down his opponent and honestly just intercept a lot of those Widowmine shots to give the Zerglings a chance.
And TaeJa's still very Marine heavy, so this could work out pretty well if we see Sen with some good micro against the Widowmines. But that's kind of been the one point where he struggled a little bit in the last couple games.
Well, you can do it for sure. Marauder's poking out in front. Zergling's going to come with him just to receive some of the Widowmine shots. But looks like Sen is regrouping, and oh my god, a lot of ultras are preparing here. He's pushing forward. This is such a scary army if you're Terran. And even a turret over. I have no clue what the turret's for. Can you enlighten me?
To shoot overseers, I guess, but it doesn't kill them that fast.
Well, we'll see as he's pushing forward. And this is just an alarming amount of Zerg, but a lot of Widowmines are going to pop in here. And is it going to be enough? Oh, the Widowmines actually hit the wrong thing. And where's the rest of Sen's army? Banelings are going to connect on the Widowmines, but still it's not a lot left. And 60 Zerglings in production, 8 Banelings as well.
Yeah, I think Sen, I'm not sure why he's not adding any infestors in. If he had a couple infestors in this composition, it would make it a lot easier to clean up this bio.
Just shut that down, but as it stands, he doesn't, and he hasn't continued or he hasn't upgraded anything that speaks to me infestors, and consistently he's having these fights here.
Yeah, he's also not taking all of his gases, which is unusual for his Zergon 5 base. He's leaving 2 of them empty.
And these fights are going more and more cost efficiently for TaeJa, just pushing all the way through. A lot of Zerglings getting eaten up so fast, Baneling's not able to connect. What beautiful micro from TaeJa, are you kidding me? And ultras are just going back and forth, not knowing whether to commit or not. Baneling's in the back, though, to potentially clean up some of these units. But again, Marauders in front, going to be cutting some of the units, trying to initiate a fight. And again, we have a beautiful split from TaeJa, cleaning up every ultra. And oh my gosh, was TaeJa able to kill Sen with just mainly Marines against an ultraless heavy composition?
Well, not yet, obviously.
Well, we'll see, as Zerglings do get cleaned up pretty fast here. Marines and Marauders just streaming in. TaeJa knows. I mean, he could just set that rally and go for it. It's not going to be enough.
Sen needs an overseer. Oh, I guess he has one now. A lot of these Widowmines haven't been cleaned up yet.
Yep. Zergling's just getting absolutely obliterated, though. The Muta switch, or the Muta count, is dwindling as we speak. It's supposed to be taking out a lot of medevacs, never able to stabilize Sen. He was once in a good position, now again losing a lot of Banelings here, and he's going to have to give up this 5th base. Ultra is on the way out, and they might be the saving grace, getting good connections so far, but a pickup will save a lot of the bio, and Sen again has to back up, but it's just never ending. This constant Myonic fight from TaeJa is impossible to stop, it feels.
He needs to kill these mines too. These mines just aren't dying. A couple of these mines have shot several different times, and I don't think he's cleaned any of them up. This one has 31 kills over in that gap.
30. He's a commander. I don't know how you're a commander in your mind, but whatever. And he's just going to drill in yet again. Great focus fire by the Widowmines, by the way. He's consistently just taking one of them and targeting the Banelings, and that's why you have some great connections instead of targeting the Ultras.
I'm not actually sure how much he's doing that, though. It'd be interesting to ask him, because it looks like Sen isn't microing as well as he could, though. He's kind of just like A-moving and sending all his units forwards, and a lot of them are dying in his mines.
My gosh, and it keeps coming in. Now, Sen looks like he's finally able to stabilize. I think 3-3 definitely assists in this. The mine's getting cleaned up, and again...
What's happened here, though? He has such a supply lead out of nowhere.
I have no clue how.
All these fights are going good for TaeJa, but Sen's up about 20 supply, 30 supply now.
If you look at the units lost tab, it shows 10,000 resources advantage for TaeJa. I'm surprised that he kept this 5th base. You can see he's very oversaturated over here.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm not sure how he's getting out macroed so much by Sen, because I mean, TaeJa, he has a lot of bases and he's been pretty efficient.
Do you know what it is? It's because his main natural and third base has been mining out, and Sen has been consistently mining from everywhere. Now pushing in yet again, and the medevac count is actually surprisingly cleared up. Sen pushing forward, able to gain a little bit of space. And oh my gosh, is this shutting down the momentum? Where are all the medevacs? Where are the mines? Even the commander mine died. And I think Sen might have been able to hold this off.
Yeah, I
don't understand this.
Sen is just a macro genius. Usually I don't see Terrans get outmined this much by a Zerg player. Especially when Terran, you see a Terran on like 7 bases, and he's getting outmined by more than 10,000 resources by a Zerg.
That's incredible.
And this is unreal. I don't see this ever.
And now the Planetary Fortress in the bottom right-hand position is going to be under attack. Zerg's getting in here, forcing a cancel, killing a lot of SCVs, but a PF thankfully is over here in the bottom middle. That's going to be a nice place to shut down if he can do that. Put TaeJa on 1 base. Right now, the mining bases of TaeJa is at 2. He's focusing the Planetary Fortress, but guess what? +2 building armor. Too strong.
Yeah, but this game just makes no sense to me. TaeJa, he takes half the map.
That's what I'm thinking, man.
TaeJa takes half the map, and he has mules, and he's getting outmined so hard.
TaeJa needs to be careful. All the mines are grouped up, and he can get a great connection. Oh, my God. And it looks like he's going to get a great connection, killing all the mines and really allowing Sen's units to take control, although it might not be enough.
But, like,
excuse me.
Look at the supply. It sends up 50 supply now.
Yeah,
no matter what TaeJa does, the supply gap keeps growing even more for Sen.
Oh, and Widow Mines are able to connect. Nice target fire by the Planetary Fortress yet again, killing the Banelings. Was able to kill a couple of those SCVs. A great job. Again, another hold here in the top left-hand position. And the supplies are looking at 165 to 119. Command center is being taken out in the top left.
TaeJa's lost a lot of his Widow Mines too. These attacks
Banelings, no!
Mines.
Banelings are actually blocking a lot of these units, but now he's going to go in for it. No mines are in this composition. Oh, maybe there are. Sorry. And Banelings are not going to get the right connections. All of a sudden, TaeJa is overpowering his opponent. Ultra's coming in from behind, not attacking initially, but now he finally will.
TaeJa behind 50 supply, he's just overpowering Sen. He has so many more units than him.
Yeah, that makes so much more sense.
I mean, he's up 40 workers.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why?
Yes, definitely. And especially looking at the supplies now, it looks like Sen doesn't have enough to fend this off, although this one Hero Ultra, maybe he can do it. No, he's not. Sen will lose his 6th base, and Sen is only on 2 mining bases as well, so TaeJa doing a good job. And look at TaeJa's bank as well. Well, look at his income. Sweet Jesus, merciful God. 4,000 minerals per minute? That's a lot.
It seems almost unfair.
Well, there we can have it. I mean, it makes sense now because TaeJa wasn't throwing down those mules.
He just
and
made
that's
a lot
why
of orbitals, I think.
Yeah, well, he wasn't throwing down the mules to begin with. I don't think we see any other orbitals really. And then he's able to splurge out, and that's why he's able to catch up in his macro. So just that small slip up. Sen on the ropes as we speak, literally. His income has just dwindled down to 100 minerals, 100 gas. Such cost-efficient fights out here for TaeJa. And it looks to prove to finally be enough. But we'll find out as the 2 Ultras get in here. Widow Mines are being cleared up, but there's just so much stuff here from TaeJa. Widow Mines, again, focusing down those Ultralisks, finally pushing his opponent back, but Widow Mines are there as well. And it basically says, stop, Sen. You cannot pass. No Overseer to help out and assist this army composition. And TaeJa has taken the bottom right-hand position. Everything is getting worse and worse for Sen. There was a little spike there. And obviously Reaper's in this composition because why not?
I think he knows he's won at this point.
Yeah. I think so too, Goes to you, sir. As Reapers will just jump down and up. Although I guess it's a good like instigator.
I don't think it's actually that good.
Okay. GG.